Hi everyone, it's Catherine, and I am finally at a stage where I can say this room is done. And I realize it's not like this Pinterest perfect space. I am going to call it finished and functional. That is what's working for me, and I will explain a little more as I go. Please forgive me if I sound like I'm gasping for air in the background. I am a little bit because I'm standing and walking and talking. I have been trying to film this for a while, and it'll either be edited to almost nothing or we're gonna have to just deal with that. So I apologize, and I just won't bug you with revisiting it. Okay, in previous videos, this space was jam-packed. I have whittled down everything that was there to a few rolls of contact paper that I will not get rid of, and 2 rolls of fabric. That's down from like 6. So that's pretty good. And I have a plan for the one in front, and the one in the back, I need it for using as like mock-ups for rayon clothing. Like this fabric here is rayon. So I need something that's kind of slinky for testing patterns. Okay, now we're gonna work our way from the top down. I have tried a lot of systems to organize all of the different things that I do. None of them have worked. That's not to say that they are bad, it's just to say they don't work for me. Having everything where I can see it makes sense for me. It's already making a difference. So, top shelf, this is going to be a quilt. This is going to be a quilt. I am hoping these will become a quilt, but I'm going to use bits and pieces, and having these things right there in front of me, not squirreled away in a bin or a box or arranged artfully or anything ridiculous like that, is making it so I see exactly what I have. And more than that, I'm going to start a quilt along with my mother and my best friend next week. All of the fabric for the quilt that I'm making is right there. And actually, that is the batting. I just stashed it up there. So I am very excited about that. And although those things are quilting, I wouldn't necessarily just have it be quilting. It would be my upcoming projects. I really want those things front and center. These are the 2 big ones that are coming up. So those are the 2 that are right there, and everything I need, right where I can see it. It's not going to be a hassle. Okay, so these 2 boxes are things that I don't necessarily need to grab all the time, but when I do take them out, I'm going to spend a little time with them. So having them in the boxes, it's fine. And I took these out because I've been trying to figure out what pattern I want to use for them, and having them out is helpful just because it reminds me I really need to use those. And when I'm trying to think about the colors that are in there, it helps to be able to see them because I keep getting confused. This brand, there are a lot of different little variations. Excuse me. So I did a video on these. It'll go up later. It was going to go up first, but it's just not working out. So I want to maintain at least one shelf for my apparel fabrics, and then some space for crafting or seasonal. This is what it looks like right now, and it has to stay this way for right now. And the reason being, I still have too much, and that's going to be a theme throughout here. But at the end of the day, this is going to get used, and then that space will free up. And how much more do I really need to buy, right? So I'm in a very awkward situation where I don't really have clothes. I was pregnant for a long time, breastfeeding for a long time. When I finally do leave the house again, I probably won't still be breastfeeding out of the house. And so I don't really have clothes that fit exactly. And yeah, and I had made a decision a while back that I'm just not buying clothes anymore because it's been such an absolute nightmare. So I want to maintain a certain level of a stash so that when I actually need something, I can just make it. So there's a lot right now, but it won't stay this way long term. And then these, once these are used up, I probably won't buy a lot of crafting things to just have on hand anymore. I do have like this. I bought it. I'm gonna make the baby something, and I'm practicing with knits. So having a lot on hand to be able to waste, I guess you could say. That's a horrible way to put it, but some of it is like, I wouldn't necessarily make a top I'd go out in. Yeah, so just having some on hand is great. Again, these shelves won't always be so full. And then I have embroidery things, and I love that I can see it. It's clear, and that's perfect. And then these bins have yarn related items, scrap fabric. I won't really get into it too much. This is just like my blocking squares. I've showed that in the past. And then these are my natural fiber yarns. Yeah, and then I have like sewing patterns. That's the paper stacked on top, and then just scraps. So not too exciting, those bins. But the big bins, I love it because I can kind of just throw things in there, and they're open top. So I don't have too many boxes and bins anymore, and I love that. Now, sorry, the angle is a little bit tricky here, but I'm going to just kind of talk briefly about this. This feels still a little overwhelming. It's still not where I want it, but I've kind of hit that point where I realize I'm not going to be able to get it the way I want it because I still have too much. But you see things like this. Okay. 1,000,000,001 sticky notepads. I do love my sticky notes. I have all these sticky notes and notepads in here. That whole bin is notepads. I am not bringing these things in with the same rate that I used to. Not by half, not even by a tenth. I am just not buying them because I have so many. And eventually I'm going to be able to do things like combine my notepads with those sticky notes. Maybe one day I'll be able to get it all down into like a couple of those drawers. And I'll open up all that space there. And I think that's going to make me really happy, and that is the goal. So I am not interested in just tossing things for the sake of getting the space. I want to actually just use what I have and go from there. Now, it's the same thing with my washi tapes. I have I have 3 washi towers, right? I don't know what people call them. And they're not all the way full. I want to say I have solidly 2.5. I have other things in there now, and I'm so excited and happy about that. The goal is to get it down to 1, maybe 1.5. And just have my doll. And I loved this, and I'll probably see what they have for Christmas time, because I did still want to be able to do some decorations, fun stuff. This is one of those Love Pop ones. It folds flat. It's a card. So all these little things, they fold flat. I did buy this. I have no regrets. This is one of those things where, yeah, okay, I still have some nonsensical storage, but sometimes nonsensical storage is fun. And I did still keep some strictly seasonal planners, but things are falling out. These are things that I'll never ever get rid of because they're just so pretty. And I like the idea of being able to take them out and kind of use them as decor so that I can still have a little bit of pretty, but it's not as overwhelming as it was before. I can decorate with things that I have and would otherwise just be sitting, right? Okay, so I can't figure out what to use that for. It was in my bathroom. It doesn't work in my bathroom anymore. I put it in here. If anyone has any suggestions, please let me know. I have my foil for like foiling stickers, and I have birthday presents hidden in here and just scraps. This bin is empty. I'm very excited about things like this. I have all my heat tools, my heat gun, I have my fuse tool, I have the heat resistant liner, all this stuff right here. And I'm very pleased about it. This is another thing where I'm hoping I can use this stuff up and then get that space. I have just interfacing and muslin for just my sewing, and those I bought for a project. It didn't get done, and I'm just going to cut the buds off and stick them in one of my tiny little Christmas trees next month. And then at the end, I'm just going to let them go because storing them doesn't make sense. They've sat for a long time. Is it horrible for the environment? Yes. Is it horrible for the pocketbook? Yes. But sometimes you just have to accept what is. And I think that's an overwhelming theme here. And I have, those are for making a pair of stays. They're bent. They came shipped that way, like folded in half. I'm trying to flatten them. So that's just why that looks like that. Okay. That won't stay like shoved behind the furniture forever. This is what I have for planners. This one row, and there's a little lot bit behind it. I'm probably going to sell some of them and donate some of them still. I would like to still scale back some because it feels like too much, and I really only want to have my very favorites. And same thing here. I have like things there. I really need to be a little more brutal. I have various little collectible whatnots in here. And then my sticker storage. I am very committed to using all my stickers. I have not bought stickers in 2 months, maybe. I'm not sure. I placed an order with Happy Daya. I did feel bad about it, sort of. But since then, I haven't bought anything, and I hadn't bought anything for months prior to that. So this is what I have left of my notebooks. I want to use those up. Eventually, I want to hang those. I love Lita Biasucci. She's with PNB. I love her. So I have her signed point shoes. And okay, empty bins. I regret nothing. A lot of these are empty as well. I do have some die cuts in there, but there's a lot of empty storage in there, but it's like empty pretty storage. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm probably going to put a deadline on some of those. If I can find other ways to use them around the house, I will. But at some point, you just need to say, wow, I've really scaled back to the point where I don't need them. I don't need them, and let's let them go to someone else who could use them and maybe can't afford to pay the full price for, because they charge a lot for organizational bins, right? They charge you a lot to store your stuff. So I'm wanting to work through my papers. Those are some like little completed things. And from a calendar, I cut out the pages, and I'll probably frame a few of them. And those are all of my papers. If in the next 2 to 3 years I could get that down to half, I would be so pleased. And I'm trying to be realistic about how long that's actually going to take. Like, it's going to take years. It's going to take years to get through all that I have. I'm okay with it. And I've done so well with not buying more. And I think that's really very important. I have some cutting mats in my rotary cutting board thing. If you've ever seen on Instagram or in other videos where I say I make my inserts and you're like, how did she make them so perfect? That Carl cutter. That is how I do it. It took me so long to go through this. I'm going to try to scooch down. Okay, so I do have some things in there to make clips, and those I have like inks for my pens and then sticker papers. This is actually an entertainment unit, and this is made for like cable boxes and modems and video game machines, but it actually works really well for this. And oh, this is my continuous ink system. So that's why that hangs out there. And I just bought this on Amazon. So it's to organize papers. I have, like, these are in the way. It was pulled forward. I should just put those in the back. But yeah, you can just lift up to get the papers you want. It's great. I will share what's in these. Just different papers. It's kind of like cardstock, decorative, photo paper, my labeler, all of my vinyls, and yeah. So those are presents that do still need to become presents. I have presents. My embroidery arm is there, and I have finally emptied this. And this might look a little silly. I have a little step stool there, and it's because I found it helpful when taking photos from above. I'm already very tall, so if you can see, this table is 36 inches. These are my legs, and my natural waist is all the way up here. So yeah, I just stand on that little step stool, and then I can take photos that look like they're coming from the ceiling. That's why I'm making my own clothes, in case anyone's still curious. Okay, this is a hot mess. That's fine. Eventually this will look a little nicer, but I feel like the cork board, along with things like the desk drawers, are things you really need to live with. You really need to live with them and say what works and what doesn't, because your own style, your planning style, your sewing style, whatever it is you do, is gonna dictate how you use those things. You're gonna be like, I wish I had that there. And you will be able to put it there. So I saw something on YouTube and I'm overly ambitious. So I bought the macrame cord and pink and these little rings. So I want to make one pink one and then maybe a wreath, because I do have too many felt flowers. Okay, my serger and my IKEA lamp. They don't make that one anymore. Last I saw, they don't have it in the stores anymore. It's so sad because that one's so cute. Okay, so cookie box, and those are little, so when I'm trying different things, when I'm trying different stitches, I will make little rounds or little squares, and I will save them to use as coasters. And this was my big project. So happy with how this turned out. I love it, and it's really cute. Let's see, I have all of these different things here, and this is fun. Like, I have all my sparkly little pens there, and then these are all the seasonal washies that I want to be using right away, and some friends, and this is actually really fun. I was with my cousin at Disneyland, and I was overbuying, and she was very polite and said nothing the whole time as I engaged in various degrees of conspicuous consumption. And I believe she was traveling with the clothes on her back and a water bottle. So yes, I have all my little charms and doohickeys, but I mean, I do love them. And then I had made that ages ago. Oh, that's a really fun one. It's Stylecraft Special DK, and they really only sell it in the UK, but I mean, you can get anything, right? So, okay, some of those bins are empty, and I'm so happy about that. And some of them are not, and I'm still working on that. Those are empty, those bins underneath the Dumbo handbag. I have some of my fanciful pens there, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. So these were things that were on that cart. But let's get down here so you can see. Okay, I have some of my favorite pretty pens, and we have markers. These are stickers that I want to prioritize using. So I have them right here. They're very easy to grab. I can just turn around and grab them. I have all of my favorite glue sticks down there. Tombow markers, sparkly pens. And then I have, yeah, more scraps in here. And this one is pretty much empty. I have some planner pouches. I want to find a use for them in here, but I haven't figured out what that is. So I put them here so that they would kind of be close at hand, and maybe I would come up with an idea. I haven't. And this I discussed, and actually in that video I said I was going to do a different project, and I've changed my mind, but it's because of like just the season, and it's all about finding the right motivation. And I really wanted to use these because they have of a more autumnal palette versus the pastels that could be done anytime. So when I want to crochet, or I did get knitting needles, when I want to work, everything I need is right here. I have my brace, I have every crochet hook I own. I have a project bag, stitch markers, a gauge, ruler, all of that stuff. Everything right here, so I don't even have to fish. And yeah, I do want to eventually have all 3 of these be like that. So just for quick grab and go, I will probably allocate this one. I will empty out those scraps into that scrap bucket, and then all of the things that I am like for my quilt along, I can put all of my things right there so that when it's time to work, it's all right there. So yeah, and I just have like favorite pens to use, my mild liners, and my tool. I do obviously have more pens in here. It's just, it's an absolute mess because I've been throwing things in here really bad. But yeah, I have all my erasable pens and stuff. So yeah, all those things close at hand. And that is it for this video. If you liked it, hey, let me know. And until next time, bye everyone.